everyone, you're watching momknows Feeding Right, and I'm Simran Kaur Arora. And that's Gunishka, my little one. As proverbial it may sound, but the truth is that we as parents, especially as mothers, are shaping our future generations. Now, there's a very interesting topic that we've not discussed, and it is about gender equality. For those of you who've been following us would have realized the last couple of months we did not release any video. And that's because we were going through a very tough time as a brand, as an initiative. Our business associate and a very dear friend of mine, who's also my child's nanny, was a victim of domestic violence. And as I embarked on this journey to help her out, I realized that it's such a sorry state of affairs that we women are in our country. It's not something that exists, as an issue only in the lower strata of the society. It also exists as a problem in the middle class and the higher class societies. Whether it could be a rudely spoken word, or it could be a higher tone that is used towards a woman, or it is generally the expectations that a man has from a woman in terms of how much information or influence that he has on her life. India has been a patriarchal country ever since. But things are changing, aren't they? And if we want them to change in the coming future, it is important that we shape our generations well, especially our little boys and girls. So today's question is to a very well-known psychiatrist, Dr. Rajiv Anand, who has 38 years of experience under his belt. What do we do to groom our children? Or how do we really teach them to respect women, whether it is their mother or their sibling or their partner in future? How should we help our little boys understand to give respect and to show sensitivity towards the opposite sex? Dr. Rajiv Anand, over to you.
All the questions what have been asked by you are very valid questions, and they have worried almost everybody whosoever is seeing the deterioration in the social values in the society. We have to keep in mind these questions are coming from an intelligent mind, from an educated mind like you. Traditionally, people have believed that the man is superior and the woman is inferior. And that belief has been drained into their system, into their psyche, which is not so easy to be eradicated. Yet, let's not be pessimistic. Let's begin somewhere. As it is popularly understood, even one small light can make a beginning of a huge life one after another. Now, we can't teach children something like school. We can't teach children something like classroom. We can't teach them that this is good, this is bad. Now, they do not have that ability of that intellect at early age when they are young kids. They don't have the ability to discriminate good or bad, fair or unfair, right or wrong. They have ability to emulate. They have ability to copy. They have ability to observe and just do that what they are seeing around. Many times we blame children. Children are getting bad. Children are losing value. Many times society we discuss, elders discuss, आजकल के बच्चे बिगड़ते जा रहे हैं. Well, we totally forget from where did they learn this. Primarily, do we practice all that? What we expect our children to learn? How do we talk? How do we sit? How do we conduct? How do we address the women in our house? How do we treat them with due dignity, with due respect, with due care? Every nuance of our behavior is influencing a young child. Like a CCTV record unknown to us. Child's mind is like a hard disk. It's recording every bit, whatever is happening. If you're looking at the women in the house with ferocious eyes, child is looking more or less the same way. If your voice tone is changing while you're talking to the women in the house, child is learning how to talk.
Dr. Rajiv Anand, please tell us what is the role that a father can play in grooming his boy child to respect women?
Equally so, when we talk to our spouse, the husband, who is a great role here, because he is supposed to have muscular power, that is power. He is supposed to have voice power, again power. But then power is meant more for outside. Every kind of power is more for preventing others to attack you. This power is not meant for keeping closer and dear ones to be away from you. Unfortunately, we don't use our power discreetly. We show this power to everyone whosoever is around us. We show this power to our grandchild, to our children, to our wife, to our every brother, sister. Then I'm powerful because everybody loves to enjoy power. Let's begin disinvesting in this power. Let's begin detaching, distancing from this power. This power is not meant for our behaviors. When the child would see that my father is a human being, he knows how to talk so. He knows how to connect to me at equal level, not just because he's father. Then he would learn the language of connecting. Then he would learn that my mother is as much human being as my father is. And then the role of mother. Very often we take it for granted when we converse with each other in the family. We often think the child is not listening, while we don't realize child is listening. Like his TV is recording. When we talk about others, we talk very often. We do bitching, we do backbiting, we do gossiping, we talk about other women, we talk about other man, we talk about other couple. Why do we talk about it? Who has given us the right to be judgmental about others? Who has given us license or authority to be critical about others? And even if we think we can get away by not letting anyone know about what we are talking inside our house, but the child is listening. And after a few days, a few months, a few years, he would come back with a similar attitude about other girls. That girl is like that. Will we be ready to accept that term? No, because that term would be derogatory towards any woman. Who started that? So I've seen and I've practiced and I've experienced in our house, nobody uses any abuse of any kind towards anyone, leave aside the woman. Any abuse of any kind towards anyone, least about any woman. So we have a system, nobody uses any abuses, I don't use, so my children don't use. So we have to create that role model. Whenever we talk about women, whatever their profession, I being a doctor and psychiatrist, I have clients who have been different gender, cross-gender, transgender, this way, that way, this kind of profession, that kind of profession, I have treated them with respect. I have had clients, needless for me to say, they have been different kind of field of work. But I say, fine, it's your work. It doesn't matter to me. So we have to give and accord due respect to every human being. Just because somebody happened to be a woman, so should our attitude spill over in our words, in our attitude? Oh, she's a woman. No. Tomorrow she could also say that you are a man, you are whatever other superlatives or adjectives could be added to this. So in the end, if we want healthy parenting, if we want responsible parenting, then we have to first practice it a lot. We have to practice whatever we are saying, whatever we are talking to the child, not necessarily that only, in general, with anyone, has to be sensitively and sensibly managed, not loosely spoken, not irresponsibly spoken. If we are not careful about it, then we are producing careless children, irresponsible, uncouth, uncivilized children. This is what we are seeing these days. Many children are doing many things which is unlawful, undesirable crimes. And they don't have the realization this is not done. Somewhere partly we could be responsible for it. So think over, don't go by that I'm teaching you. I'm shaking you, waking you up. Think over.
What is the role a mother can play in helping the child get the right grooming or the right values, even as he may be still living in a society or a family setup where patriarchy exists?
Mother has great role to play. This is not just a cliche. And arguably, mother has not only a great role to play, but the greatest role to play in every child's life. I have no qualms in saying whatever I am entirely attributed to mother. Not only the language, but the manners, the sensitivity of whatever culture. Not necessarily the surrounding may or may not be desired. The elders in the family, Jethani, father-in-law, mother-in-law, Rani, so on and so forth, the society, the neighborhood, they may have their own personality, they may have own social behavior, which may or may not be desirable. So what? The closeness, the bonding with the mother is the greatest insulating factor. We also grew in a city where abuses were not uncommon, where ill treatment to women was not uncommon. But the bonding with my mother prevented me from getting influenced by it. The mother has great bond with the child. Child would first open the eyes and look up to the mother. Child would like to believe what mother think about any subject. Child's first book, first dictionary, first encyclopedia, first scripture is mother.
What is the role that a couple can together play to help their child understand the importance of gender equality?
If you think that talking loudly or aggressively or shoutingly is the regular way your father or your grandfather have practiced since ages and you ought to do that, child is going to learn that. You can't blame the child. Women have to be shouted upon. Idhar aao, baat suno, pani lekar aao, khana laga do. Child would think the lady in the house is like a foster servant. While if we treat them with due respect, the child would learn that. First of all, every parent has to realize he is not just biological parent, that the baby came out of the womb with the sperms were deposited in the uterus. That's just being accidental biological parent. That's not the main role for which God has sent to us. A parent has to begin taking charge of his role, that I have to be a caring parent, I have to be a responsible parent, I have to be a really concerned parent. And that's not a small thing to do. That's a great thing to do. And why I'm saying so great thing to do? Because we all, including me, we all have been traditionally molded into some beliefs. So what can be the practical steps what we can do? First, let's begin treating the women in the house as equal human beings with equal rights. I do practice in my house. Every small decision we discuss democratically. We discuss with the daughter and with the son and wife and myself. I don't announce my decision in the beginning. I do not expect them to follow it because this is my rule. No, I ask them, this is what needs to be done. What is your opinion? Whether we have to go to a movie or to a restaurant or to go to a picnic, to go this way or that way. So everybody has right to give his opinion, and everybody's opinion counts. So this is one democratic system when even the daughter, however young it might have been, never felt devalued, never felt she was the inferior sex, never felt she was lesser than the boy or lesser than the son or the brother. That helped them bringing up their personality. But let's not make them feel less in any way. Let their voice count.
How do we raise our voice to be more sensitive towards women?
Not necessarily that every good quality can be taught to them. We may like to, but not necessarily every quality can be digitally transferred or cerebrally transferred. Yet each one of us have grown, whatever way we have grown. Because we see those things happening again and again. If somebody learned Gurumukhi or Punjabi language, because one saw again and again, same day, same thing. So every behavior has to be practiced consistently, regularly, unfailingly, uninterruptedly. Saying a figure of 100 could be too short to brief an answer. Something has to go on. Child would pick up.
What is the starting age when we need to help our child understand that he needs to be sensitive towards the woman?
Most kids start watching their parents' behavior very early, even 1.5 years, 2 years. There's nothing like that we have to teach them at a particular age. No, they watch. So even if at the age of 1.5 years or 2 years, the child is watching how mother or father are reacting. How when a woman comes to the house, how my father treat the other woman, how he usher them, how he make them feel comfortable, how he make them sit, every nuance of it. So I would say as early, we can't say that I would begin teaching good manners to my child when he would become 5-year-old. No, a year late would be dangerous. A year earlier would be better. Let child learn good things, good manners as early as possible.
What should our reaction be like if we have noticed or witnessed our toddler or our young boy misbehave with a female counterpart? What should be the corrective measure or the corrective action that is needed? Should we reprimand him?
First, we have to separate between a person and his action. We begin hating a person because of the action. That's a very general trend. And that's why we never let the person reform. We never let the person take charge of his behavior and modify. If he happened to be son, he was son, he is son, he would remain son. He did something which is unfair. He did something which is undesirable. He did something which he should not have done. Then let us talk about that act, talk about the deed or misdeed. So I bring son with me, two of us jointly talk about that issue. So in this way, I'm empowering my son with my power or my ability to understand things in a better way, in a clearer way about how women should be treated, how he did what he could not, what he should not have done it. So son is getting benefit of privilege of my understanding. If two of us jointly are talking about a problem, then there are higher chances that this act will not be repeated. Well, if I distance myself from the son, make him stand there, give him punishment, then I am distancing, alienating myself, then I am reducing the chances of his ever reform. That's what most people do. That's what parents of our generation means. My parent generation many times unknowingly did. So they made children become antisocial, or they made children insensitive, or they made children become defiant. जिसको हिंदी में कहते हैं जिद्दी हो जाना है, ढीठ हो जाना, तो वही करेंगे जो हमारा करेंगे. क्योंकि आपने हमको अपने से दूर कर दिया। हमने गलती की थी मगर आपने हमको अपने से दूर कर दिया। हमको उसकी तकलीफ ज्यादा है। गलती हमने की थी क्योंकि हम बच्चे हैं, गलती करेंगे, हमको समझ नहीं है, लेकिन आपने हमको अपने से दूर कर दिया। सो एवरी स्मॉल मिस्टेक और बिग मिस्टेक कैन बी डेल्ट जेंटली and very, very maturely, very sensitively by the day.
Thank you so much. I hope you liked this video. If there are any more questions that you have, please feel free to write it to us. Until then, do remember to share, like, and subscribe to our channel if you already haven't done so. Thank you so much and have a nice day.